For each expression in column A, which is a square of binomial expression, select and join the corresponding expansion from column B. So A. So what do we have? First we have to square the first term. So that becomes x squared, right? Then we have to multiply these two. X into 5, that is 5x. Multiply that by 2, that is what? 10x. So that's a positive one. Nah? Then square the last term. So that will be what? 25. Okay. The answer for this is what? X squared plus 10x plus 25. Right? When there's a subtraction here. So if we compare these two binomial expressions, here we have an addition, here we have a subtraction. So whenever we have a subtraction, the middle term, that becomes what? It becomes a negative value. So we can square this. So this becomes what? X squared. Then x into 5, that is 5x. Multiply that by 2, this becomes 10x. Then positive 25. Right? Then part C, we have what? 2x plus 5, the whole thing square. Right? So the first term we have to square that. So this becomes what? 4x squared. Then we have to multiply these two. 5 into 2x, that is 10x. Multiply again that by what? 2. So this becomes 20x plus 25. Right. So we have to square this term. So this becomes what? 4x squared. Then we have to multiply these two. Right. So it becomes 2xy. Again multiply that by 2. So this becomes what? 4xy plus. Then plus y squared. Then e. Right. So when this term becomes negative, so what do we have to do? These are squares now, so we have to multiply negative 2x by negative 2x. So this becomes what? Positive 4x squared. Then we have to multiply these two. Then this becomes what? Negative 10x. Then multiply again that by 2. So this becomes negative 20x plus 25. So that's the answer. Right. So we have to square the first term, x squared. Then we have to multiply these two. Negative 2xy. Multiply that by 2. 4xy. So that's a negative. Plus 4y squared. So those are the answers. So we have to square this. So this becomes what? 4x squared. So that's a positive one. Then multiply these two. 2xy. Multiply that by 2. This becomes 4xy. So this is negative. Plus y squared. So we have to square this. This becomes 4x squared. Then we have to multiply these two. So 6xy. Then multiply that by 2. 12xy. Plus 9y squared. So බලන්න මෙතන අපිට minus එකක් තියෙනවා අනිවාර්යෙන් term එකක් එනවා එතකොට අපිට negative value එකක් තියෙනවා. So 2x squared, so this becomes what? 4x squared, right? Then when we multiply these two, we get what? 6xy, negative 6xy, multiply that again by 2, negative 12xy, plus 9y squared. So here we have what? 4y squared, that is positive. Huh? Then multiply these two. අපි මේක පොඩ්ඩක් ගමු. 2y into x. So we get what? 2xy. Now negative into negative. So this is positive. So this is what? Positive 2xy. Then again we have to multiply that by 2. So this becomes what? Positive 4xy. Positive x squared. So that's the answer. Right. Question number 2, exercise 4.2. Expand each of the following squares of binomial expressions, right? So we will use the shortcut method. So A, what do we have? X plus 2 square. So first term we have to get the square, x squared, multiply 2 and x. So that becomes what? 2x. Then multiply 2x by 2. So we get what? 4x. So that's what? A positive value. Then plus 4. That's the answer. Now we have part B. So a plus 3 whole thing squared. So a squared, then multiply these two. So we get what? 3a. Multiply that by 2, we get what? 6a. right? Plus 9. Then C, what do we have? P minus 3 whole thing square. So P squared, then multiply these two. So here we have P minus 3, right? So definitely when we expand this binomial expression, right, what do we get? A negative value, right? So this becomes what? Negative 6P. Common negative 6P unit. P into 3. P into 3, that is what? 3P. But P is positive, 3 is negative. So may are negative. ඊට පස්සේ එයා දෙකෙන් multiply කරන්නත් ඕනේ. එතකොට negative 6P. Right? Then plus 9. So that's the answer. Y minus 1 square. So we get y square here, negative y, multiply that by 2, we get what? Negative 2y plus 1. Then E, 2a plus 3 whole thing square. So we get what? 4a squared, multiply these two, we get what? 6a, again multiply that by 2, we get 12a plus 9. So here we have to square this, so this becomes what? 9b squared plus multiply these two, we get what? 6b. අටනම් පැත්තකින් ලියාගන්න. ඒක ඊට පස්සේ දෙකෙන් multiply කරන්න ඕන. 12b, we get 12b. දැන් මෙතන බය වෙන්න දෙයක් නැහැ. right? මොකද බය වෙන්න දෙයක් නැහැ කිව්වේ. අපි මෙයාවම ගමු. 3b plus 2. right? So square, right? So if we take each of these terms, this one is a positive, this one is also positive. So when we expand this, all terms will be what? Positive. If we take negative 3b plus 2 square and 3b negative 2 square, right? You can see we have one term in both of these instances. One term is what? Negative, right? එතකොට එක term එකක් හරි negative වුණොත් එහෙම අනිවාර්යෙන් මෙතන negative term එකක් තියෙනවාම negative term එකක් මේ වගේ scenario එකක් ආව නැත්නම් ඔයාලා expand කරලා තියෙනවා වැරදි. මෙහෙම එකක් ආවොත් negative 3b minus 2 whole thing square. Now both terms are negative. Definitely all the terms will be what? Positive. Then we have F. Then we have G. This is minus 1. So when after we do the expansion, right, we will get a negative term. So this becomes what? 9x squared minus 3x into 2. This becomes what? 6x plus 1. So we have a negative value. So definitely we will get a negative term here. So this becomes what? 16m squared, right, minus 40m plus 25. So that's the answer. Okay. So I, what do we have? 3p plus 4q whole thing square. So 3p square, that becomes what? 9p square. Multiply these two, 12pq. Again multiply that by 2. This becomes what? 24pq plus 16q square. 5m square, that becomes what? 25m square. We have to multiply these two. So 15mn, that's a negative value. Then we have to multiply that by 2. So negative 30mn plus 9n square. So here this becomes what? 4y square, that's a positive value. Then multiply these two. We get what? 10y, negative 10y. Multiply that again by 2. Negative 20y plus 25. So this becomes what? දැන් බලන්න මෙතන මේ හැම එකම මෙතන නෙගටිව් තියෙනවා මේ අනිවාර්යෙන් expand කරපුවම නෙගටිව් terms එනවා මෙතනත් එහෙමයි. So this becomes 9a squared minus, when we multiply these two, what? It will be negative 15ab, again multiply that by 2, negative 30ab plus 25b squared, right? So the first term 9m squared, multiply these two, we get what? Negative 3mn, again multiply that by 2, so we get what? 6mn plus n squared. So both of the terms are what? Both of the terms are, if we take one binomial expression, right, both of the terms are what? Negative. දැන් මේ කියන ළමයි මොකද්ද? මේ කියන්නේ negative 5m 6n times negative 5m 6n කියන එකනේ නේ. එතකොට එක term මෙතන terms දෙකම මොනවද? negative terms. එතකොට මේක expand කරපුවාම all the terms will be what? Positive. So this becomes what? 25m squared positive. Then 5m into 6n, that is what? 30mn, negative into negative, that becomes positive. මේකත් දෙකෙන් වැඩි වෙන්න ඕනේ. එතකොට මොකද වෙන්නේ? Positive 60mn. Positive 60mn. Positive 36n squared. Right, so that is the end of exercise 4.2. Right, exercise 4.2, question number 3. Write down the term suitable for the blank space in each of the expressions. Right, so we have several parts. So part A. So we have x plus 3 whole thing square, right? So we have been given x squared plus 6x, right? So this is the last term, that's the thing they are asking. So we know this should be what? 9, right? Then part B, we have what? Y plus 2 whole thing square. So the term in the middle, it should be what? Y into 2 or 2 into y multiplied by 2. So y into 2, that is 2y. Again multiplied by 2, that becomes what? 4y. Right, then C. So we have m minus 5 whole thing square, right? Then we have m squared minus 10m and a space, right? So they are asking the last term, so it should be what? 25. 5 square, right? So 5 into 5, we know that is obviously 25, but here negative into a negative, the answer is a positive one, right? So we know here we have what? 16, right? So that's not a thing that they are asking, but we know that this is what? 16, and we know when we talk about squares of binomial expressions, the last term, right? When we have two terms in one binomial expression, right? And we talk about squaring that, right? The last term, how do we get it? Square in the last term, no? See here, we have negative 5. So how do we got the last term? 5 times 5, 25. Negative into negative, positive 25. So here we know, we can see the last term is 16. So this should be what? 4. Already? So we can see, right, that there's a positive between these two terms, right? So we know, we can guess that all the terms are positive when we expand this, right? So here, this is 25, so this should be what? Plus 5. So this is the term that they are asking. So we know we can get that by what? Square rooting x squared. So that will be what? X. Okay. So we know we can get this space, or we can fill that space by what? By squaring negative 3. So 3 into 3, we know that is 9. Negative into negative, that is plus. Or negative 3 into negative 3, we know that is what? Positive 9. So this is what? 9, right? So this is x squared, right? So we can get this term here by what? By getting the square root of x squared. That is what? X. So we can see here the term is 16. So we can calculate this term by getting what? Square root of 16, right? So that is what? 4. Exercise 4.2, question number 4. Write each of the following as a square of a binomial expression and find the value, right? 21 square. Okay, so we can write this as what? 20 plus 1 whole thing square, right? So square of 20, that is what? 20 into 20, we know that is 400. right? So here we have 400. Then 20 into 1 multiplied by 2. 20 times 2, that is what? 40. Plus 1. So what is the answer here? 441. So we can rewrite this as what? 100 plus 2 whole thing square. So square of 100, that is what? 10,000. Multiply 100 by 2, again by 2, what do we get? 400 plus 400 plus 4. So this is what? 10,404. So we can write 17 squared as what? 20 minus 3 whole thing square, right? So the first term should be what? අපි shortcut එක දන්නවනේ. මෙයා වර්ග වෙන්න ඕන. කියන්නේ මෙයා square වෙන්න ඕන. That means this becomes 400, right? Then definitely there will be a minus. අය මෙතන තියෙන minus එකනේ. So there will be a negative term. 20 into 3, that is what? 60, right? 20 into 3, that is 60. Again we have to multiply that by 2. So we get what? Minus 120 plus 9, right? So 100 minus 120, that is what? 280. 280 plus 9, that is what? 289. එමණත් ඕක මෙහෙම ගන්නත් පුළුවන්. 17 square. So we can get this value by writing like this. 15 plus 2 whole thing twice. So 15 square, that is what? 225. Then 15 into twice, that is what? 30. 30 again multiplied by 2, that is what? 60 plus 4, right? So 225 plus 60, that is what? 285. 285 plus 4, that is what? 289. මේ ක්‍රම දෙකෙන්ම අපිට answer එක ගන්න පුළුවන්, right? So this is another way we can get the answer. මේ දෙකෙන් ඕන එකක් ඈ. So we can rewrite this as what? 100 minus 2 whole thing square. 100 squared is what? 10,000 minus 100 into 2, that is 200. 200 into twice, that is 400. Negative 2 square, that is what? Positive 4. 10,000 minus 400, that is what? 9,600. 9,600 plus 4, that is what? 9,604. 9.9 square, right? So we know if we take the number 10 and subtract 0.1 from that, the answer will be what? 9.9. එතකොට මෙන්න මේක තමයි අපිට ගන්න වෙන්නේ, right? So 10 minus 0.1, square that. So 10 square, that is what? 100, right? ඊළඟට 10 times 0.1, that is what? 1. Multiply that by 2, we get what? 2. 100 minus 2, okay? Then 0.1 square, right? So what is the answer here? 0.01. So we have to add that, right? So 100 minus 2, that is what? 98. 98 plus 0.01, that is what? 98.01. That's the answer. Right. Question number 5. If the length of a side of a square-shaped room is given as within brackets 2a plus 3b meters, write down an expression for the area of the room in terms of a and b and expand it. Right. Right. So what do we have to do? We have to find the area. Right. Area. That is what? 2a plus 3b into 2a plus 3b. මේ කියන්නේ මොකක්ද? 2a plus 3b whole thing squared, no? Right. So we have to expand this. So we can use the short method, right? So first term 2a squared, we know that is what? 4a squared. Then what do we have to do? 2a multiplied by 3b multiplied by 2. So here we get what? Here we get 6ab into twice. So that is what? 12ab plus 9b square, right? So here this is square meters. So that's the answer. Verify the following for the values. A equals 2 and B equals 3. So here we have what? A equals 2, B equals 3. Okay, so now we will move to the second part. Negative A, negative B square equals A square plus 2AB plus B square. Right, so the values are the same, no? Right, here also A is what? 2, then B is what? 3. Alright, so this is the left hand side. So left hand side, negative 2, negative 3. Negative 2, negative 3, whole thing into square, right? So negative 2, negative 3. This is what? Negative 5, square negative 5. So we get what? Positive 25. So the left hand side is positive 25. Then the right hand side, A square, that means 2 square, plus 2, A is again 2, B is 3, plus 3 square. So 4 plus 2 times 2, that is 4, 4 times 3, that is 12, plus 9. So here we get what? 16. 16 plus 9 is what? 25. Right? So we can clearly say left hand side is equal to right hand side.